Good evening, everybody. Can you all see me? Well, let me test it out. Oh, it's terrible. Oh no. Can you guys, can you guys hear me? It's coming in and out, but because I'm watching it on the screen right now, it's coming in and out. But can you guys see me? Hola Maribel, ¿cómo estás? Daryl, how are you? Antonio Montesinos, how are you? Thank you guys for logging in. Really appreciate it. Oh, you can hear me. Good. Okay, well, you know I don't always get reception, so it might be coming in and out, but I guarantee if you stay on, it'll come in and out. But I have something to share with you guys. So if you can do me a favor, in the meantime, Maribel, buenas noches. Guy Guerrero, ¿cómo estás? In the meantime, if you guys can do me a big favor while more people log on, if you guys can look on your screen and on your left, there's a share button. Can you do me a favor and hit the share button? I love the likes and everything, but if you can hit the share button, then it would, hola Alexis Alvarán, ¿cómo estás? Oscar Nieto, you can hear and see me, great. So once again, I'm letting a few more log on, and if you guys can do me that favor, go to your left, hit the share button. The reason why, what I have to share with you guys tonight, besides me sharing it with you, then if you share it with your network as well, then the more people can see this and the more people that we can help. Thank you, Daryl, for sharing it. I see you just shared it right now. So thank you, Maribel. Thank you for sharing it also. I'm going to give you guys a couple more seconds to log on, and then we'll go from there. So, me encanta verte. Gracias, que eres mi fan. Muchas gracias, Alexi. So, thank you guys, and thank you for Christina Cantalina Rodriguez for sharing the video as well. Thank you guys for sharing this. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Whoever's logging on, thank you so much. This is your girl Mia Perez here. 2017 is just starting, and I'm very excited to not only, and sorry, but I'm going to look over here to see if I am all on your screen like this. Okay, I'm good on the screen right now. Okay, you can see me clear. I think so. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to talk to you guys today, and thank you so much for logging on and for waiting for me, because it's, I said 7 p.m. and I was a few minutes late, but I figured I'll give us some time for all of us to log in. So now I see plenty of people here logged on. Alejandro, hola, ¿cómo estás, Alejandro, amigo? Tanto no verte. Gloribella Orellana, ¿cómo estás? Muchas gracias. Thank you guys all for tuning in. So again, whoever's just tuning in, do me a favor, hit the share button on the left. And I appreciate all the likes, all the hearts and everything. Thank you. So, okay, so I'm going to get started with you guys right now. So this is the first Facebook Live of 2017. I did tell you guys that I was working on some things, and I held off for a little while of doing Facebook Lives. And reason being, I wanted to have a clear direction of where I was headed. So the reason why I'm asking you guys to share this on your left button to share with your network is because I'm going to share with you guys, I'm going to reveal some personal experiences and some life lessons that I feel, not because I'm an example, I don't feel myself as a role model, nothing like that. I just feel that things that I went through, I feel other people can benefit from sharing my experience. So I'm going to be honest with you. I was very, very, very nervous, extremely nervous. And you guys know that I've done work in front of the camera. You know, I'll do TV work and film work and even Facebook Lives. I don't get nervous. This is my thing. I love to do. However, being that it's 2017, I have a few coaches. So I have one coach, a set of coaches actually, Pamela and Patty from Create Buzz, who helped me get started with my passion, which is working with women. And that's on my Viva page, Viva Women. If any of you follow that, and those that don't, the women, go ahead and click there. Maribel, you got my back. Thanks, love. Thank you. So then I have another coach. That's my personal coach. And we were going over what I want to do for 2017. And he knew a little bit of my story. He actually knew a lot about my story. And he said, Mia, okay, where we want to go for 2017 is great, but I need you to tell your story. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So now this is why I'm nervous, because I've shared little bits and pieces with you guys, but and some stuff in the book, in the chapter, but I've never just kind of laid out my life before you guys. I've always said, if you guys only knew and what I went through or whatever, but I've never been exactly like, boom, this is what happened, this is where I was. And going over things with him the other day, he said, Mia, where you want to go in 2017, I'm there with you. I want to help you, but we all have New Year's resolutions, right? And I'm sure you guys too. Thank you, all of you guys, for tuning in. And like I said earlier, for those of you that are watching, if you can just hit the share button on the left, because I'm going to share some important things with you. Now that we're heading 2017, we all have these New Year's resolutions, right? We all have changes that we want to make. So, which is great. Some are career, some are, in fitness. You want to work out, you want to eat better. Our personal growth, some are relationships, maybe toxic people in your lives, friendships, significant others that you feel stuck, right? Okay, well, then you have maybe your own unhealthy habits, or you want to pursue a new career, you want to pursue your passion, whatever it is, it's going to require changes, right? But in order for those changes to take place, you have to have a starting point, and that starting point is, how honest are you with yourself of where you are right now? And you can plan all you want to get somewhere, but you need to have your plan and say, if my target is to get there, this is a reality of where I am right now. So my coach said, Mia, for what you want to do this year in 2017, I need you to open up, and I need you to just share with people. So, Freddy, tengo bad signo. No has pensado en pasar por alguna revista para adultos. Wow. Okay. So I'm going to forget I read that there. But anyways, okay, guys. So back to, wow, that I was sidetracked. That was a not good comment. Anyway, so it's good that we all have goals and all that, right? So he said, I need you to be honest. So basically, I thought a lot about it, and I said, okay, so how much can I share of myself? How vulnerable can I get? And for what I want to do, which this year I purposed myself that I want my life to have more meaning. And what do I mean by that? I want it to be, this isn't just about me in my life. I need to serve others. So how can I better service you? Better service people that come to me and they Facebook message me privately with their, with their problems that they're going through, with certain things that they're stuck in. And I've been kind of fighting off. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been fighting off and fighting this off for a long time. For those of you that, that know or don't know, I'm a faith believer. I believe in God. I don't know what your belief is, and I don't want to offend anybody, with whatever your belief is, but I believe in God. And I've had this struggle with God back and forth where I know God wants me to help other people, but I'm like, okay, but I'm not ready. God, I'm not there yet. I can't help anybody else when I myself am not at the place where I feel that I'm even worthy of talking about a subject or worthy of helping somebody else. So I prayed a lot about it, and there's been a lot of direction. And in all honesty, at the end of the day, it went back to what my coach said. Share your truth. The truth is uncomfortable. It is scary. It is, you can be very hesitant to share your truth and be vulnerable like that in front of people. Not so much for judgment, but because it's scary to put your life out there. But in all honesty, in 2017, I have decided that I can't hold back from what I know God has purposed me to do, which is to help other people in their own lives and what they're going through. And as much as I wanted to just not do this right now and wait till I'm in a better place, the way God has revealed himself to me is like, you know what? I don't need you to be perfect. I don't need you to wait till I have you where I want you to be. I want you where you are right now. I want you in the place where you are right now, because I want people to see, no matter all these things that I'm going to talk to you about right now, what you've been through and where you still are, I want them to witness through what I'm going to do this year. I want them to see in your life where I'm going to take you. So I'm sorry I'm being so blunt, and maybe some people this is uncomfortable for me to talk religion, for me to talk about God, but at the end of the day, this is where I am and this is what I have to share with you. So in order for me to start taking you on this journey with me of where I want to go in 2017 and what I want to do, you need to know more about me. So let me just start with, you guys know who I am. I'm your friend, Mia Perez here. So I'm a single mother of a 9-year-old little girl. And so some of you have followed me through Facebook for a very long time. And at times I would say you guys don't even know what I went through, and if you only knew, but I'm going to tell you now. So my story begins here. I'm not going to go through where I was born and this and that, but bottom line is where my difficult journey began, 2004. 2004, I got into the mortgage business. I quickly became one of the top producers. Top producers meaning in my worst year I made $160,000. My best year I made $750,000. That's a lot of money. I was a very good salesperson. I then got into the insurance business in 2007. I had my own agency, my own office for insurance, and also became one of the top producers there as well. In 2009, in 2007, I opened my parents' cleaning business. I opened a family-owned business, which to this day still is actually in business, and it's doing great, thank God. So that's still running. In 2009 is when I started my insurance business, quickly became a top producer as well. In 2010, I opened a wholesale meat distributorship with my ex-husband, and serviced restaurants, I serviced stores, made very good income as well. During that time, my ex-husband was a broker, and we had over 30 employees working for us, which I also managed as well. So I can say at a very young age, I was very successful. I made a lot of money. I was able to enjoy a lot of things. Not really enjoy, but I mean, I guess I could have had whatever I wanted, but I couldn't so much enjoy it because I worked, I don't know how much you can enjoy it when you work 7 days a week, 10, 12, 14-hour days. That was my life. In between that, 2006, I was married. I got married, and for the wrong reasons. I got married because I felt alone. I grew up, I'm a Latina, and I grew up, Mexican families. We all are always together. So I grew up with aunts and uncles, everybody living together, sharing the house. And, when the whole real estate came down, my parents moved. Everybody moved. Actually, I'm talking 30 people up and moved in the matter of like a year and a half. So parents, grandparents, my siblings, aunts, uncles, everybody left. And I was completely left alone. So what happened as far as me being so used to having, always being with family, and Sunday after church we all get together and we all go eat. You know how it is for Mexican families. For Latinos, you do not need an excuse to have everybody get together. That's something we do. We're always together. We always have a reason to go, and have food, and that's what I love about our culture. All of a sudden I was faced with not having any of that. And what was my answer to that was, well, I need to get married. I need to start a family. And that was because I didn't want to be alone, to be honest with you. I didn't know how to be alone. So I was married. Now, again, by this time in 2006, that's when I was already a loan agent. I was doing very well. 2007, like I said, I opened my parents' home business because they moved back. 2009, I had my insurance business. 2010 is when I had the meat distributorship. In 2013, between 2006 and 2013, hold on, because I don't want to cry yet. Oh my gosh. Okay. What I thought marriage was supposed to be about, it was nothing like that. I experienced a lot of bad things. What I thought would be a dream come true, which was getting married, turned into a nightmare that I couldn't wake up from. And I ended up finding myself in a terrible situation of domestic abuse. And I don't want to make this into, and I want you to know right now, this is not going to become like a crying session of poor me, this is what I went through, nothing at all. But I just need to be very honest with you because of what I'm going to do now with my life, where I'm going to go with this. I need you to know who I am and why it is that I'm going to have the guts, if you will, to speak about certain subjects, and why I feel in a certain way I'm going to have authority over saying, you know what, this is what you should do or you shouldn't do, or this is how you should feel, or I felt that way. I need you to know where I've been and what I felt and what I went through and where I am. That's why I'm sharing this with you. So, again, I married the wrong person. I take full responsibility for that. I take ownership because I married for the wrong reasons, right? And that took me down a path of destruction, not in myself, but in a path of destruction of my family. So next thing you know, all this money I make and this money that's coming in, I don't know where it's going because I owe everybody and their moms. We owe everybody. And I'm like, we make a lot of money. Where's the money? Well, I had no say-so. All of a sudden, I didn't have a say-so in where the money went or anything like that. That was something I somehow, slowly, somebody started molding me into someone who I wasn't. And I think that what really made me, if you know that I'm an actor, I got into acting and TV and all that. So let me tell you how that happened, because you're probably thinking, wait a minute, so how did you go from a businesswoman, you had all these, and then all of a sudden you got into acting and TV hosting and all that, right? Well, story goes like this. While we're owing everybody and their moms, and I'm asking questions, all of a sudden I'm told by my ex-husband, well, you know, I don't see any checks coming in your name. There's nothing that says your name on it. So you don't have any right to ask me questions. Don't worry about where the money goes. Don't worry about anything. And I'm just like, wait a minute. I run the meat business. All the accounts are mine. People do business because of me. I have the insurance agency who people, when they can't afford their homes anymore, they tell me they're going to sell it. And here I am. I send them to you to short sell. All your business is because of me. And everything I mean, I was a businesswoman. And I'm just told now, you know what? Actually, no. You have no say-so on the money, and you're not gonna touch it anymore. That was a hard blow to me because I don't know why. And let me tell you something. Some of you might be like, "Oh my God, you're so stupid. How could you even, allow yourself to the..." I'm sorry, just a minute. Mamita, necesito estar hablando solas ahorita, okay? Sorry, my daughter walked in. Let me continue. Okay, mamita. Gracias. So a lot of you might be like, how did you allow that to happen? Well, just so you know, abuse doesn't happen overnight. It happens subtly. It happens gradually. And for some reason, I thought to myself, like, wow, well, I mean, if I'm not making any money, here I am working my ass off, but the checks don't come in my name, so I have no right to it. Well, then you know what? Hey, this is what I ended up saying, since I don't make any money, right? And it doesn't matter if I work or not, clearly, then you know what? I'm going to go follow where my passion has always been. You know what? Since I was little, I wanted to be an actress. I'm going to go be an actress now. Well, he says, how are you going to do that? I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But I'm going to do it because that's my passion. And even if I do it for free, who cares? Because I don't make any money anyway, right? That's what you said. If I don't bring in any money, if I'm not helping in any way, why am I busting my ass 12, 14-hour days, 7 days a week for money that I don't bring in? So you know what? I'm going to go and just make myself happy because I've always wanted to be an actress and I've wanted to be in entertainment. That's what I'm going to do. The one thing I applaud myself for is I had the balls to not ask for permission. I said, this is what I'm doing. And I just went for it. So it got worse from there. Next thing you know, I'm cut off from the bank accounts. And I didn't have a way to access money at all. Now, the funny thing is, sorry, because I get me. The funny thing is this. And obviously, I was married to an abusive person, narcissistic personality, and they can manipulate the best con artists and they can control you, anybody. They can, I mean, these people are crazy. If anybody has ever had an experience with a narcissist, oh my goodness, okay? So it comes to a point where I got into the business. And you know what? By God's grace, God has always given me so much favor. I hit the ground running. Right away, the door started opening to me. I went to LA. There's a lot of contacts that I had out there, and I was so blessed. In the beginning, his manipulative way said, you know what? That's great, everything that you're doing. By this time, I had already said, you know what? I'm throwing in the towel. I no longer want to be in this marriage. But he wouldn't leave the house. And he wouldn't leave, period. So he convinced me that he said, you know what? We'll just live in the same house. You do your thing. And you know what? You were such a good woman. I messed up. And you were such a good woman that it's my turn to support you and your dream. So you know what? Go to LA. Go for what you're going to do because you're going to do it anyway. You already said it. So I might as well just support you for the benefit of our daughter. So I agreed. I didn't have a choice. He had to live in the house. He wouldn't leave. I started going to LA and my doors start opening for me right away. And what happens is that next time I want to go to LA, well, how are you going to go? You don't have any money. Mind you, I had already started working with Star's agency in San Francisco for modeling and acting, and they picked me up right away. So when they would send me checks, I wasn't allowed to go to my mailbox anymore. I wasn't allowed to go to the mailbox at all because it doesn't matter who you get mail from. You don't make the money here. A lot of you might think like, how crazy are you to not even like mentally you're so handicapped that you're like, oh my God, no, I can't go outside. I can't go to my mailbox, or I better go straight to the car. He better not see. That's how bad it was. I would call Star's agency and I would beg them. I would beg them the accounting. I would tell them, please do me a favor. That job that I just did, please hold the check. I'll drive over there and I'll pick it up. And that's what they would have to do so I can take it somewhere to a check cashing place and get some money. Because if they sent it, he would just sign it and go cash it. And he had such good relationships with the bank, the banks that we banked at. You know, out of embarrassment, I didn't want to go because they knew me. I didn't want to go and say, hey, you know, I need money. Or my husband's keeping away from money. Because how do you say that? You know, when you've been the businesswoman, when you're like so respected and you're so, you know, you're so strong. Another thing is he rubbed politicians with, he rubbed elbows with all the politicians. He's a businessman that's very respected. And who was I to come and damage that reputation? They wouldn't believe me anyway. They would believe him over me any day. So next thing you know, like I said, if Star's agency sent the checks to the house, good luck. I wasn't going to see the money. And if I needed to go to LA, well, then I can't go to LA anymore. So what did you do? Well, you know what? I'm going to go with you. So I didn't have a choice. I had to take him with me to LA. So he'd go with me. I'd have to introduce him to all the people because again, I I am more than blessed that God has always given me favor with so many people that always want to help me. And as people would open doors for me and I would say I have to go do this now, or they invited me for that, his answer to everything was, sorry for cussing, but really? Well, you're fucking him then. You're being a hoe and you're fucking him. That's why they're giving you this. That's why they're offering you that. And I was like, you know, just because I was no longer with him, I didn't want to be with him. He wouldn't leave the house, but he knew I didn't want to be in a marriage with him anymore, in a relationship with him. I was focused on my career. And for me to go over there, and I take pride in that, I can tell you, there's not anybody in entertainment, a producer, a director, an actor, any artist that I've interviewed, nobody can ever come and say to my face or tell anybody else and say, you know what? I had her. I was with her. Or yeah, she was whatever. I slept with her. She's this, she's that. Nobody can. Because I've never been that kind of person. As I was a businesswoman, I was very straight in all my dealings. That's the way I've been in entertainment as well. This is who I am, and I'm very upright and I'm forthcoming in what I do. So, but what happens, he starts accusing me of that, and in order for me to even just go over there and prove to him that that's not what's happening, I have to take him. I introduce him to everybody. What does he do? Some of you that remember me from way back, I used to be friends with somebody else. Well, I am still friends with my friend Cesar Vargas from Uplift, United People for Latinos in Film, Television, Theater. That's his Facebook page, Uplift. It used to be Lift. So we started collaborating together since I got into the industry. We saw the need that there was for Latinos in the industry, how we're, and I mean, now it's all over, how do I say it? Everybody talks about it, so it's kind of like, sounds like a broken record, but how Latinos were always stereotyped and were given these roles and blah, blah, blah. He started that back then, and I collaborated with him in pushing that, and we wanted to unite the talent that's in front and behind the camera. So we started the movement, Lift, and my ex-husband saw that, and he saw how people were responding to it, and he saw how people were gravitating towards the fact that like they were all just like coming and they wanted to be a part of Lift. Why? Because we weren't looking for money. We weren't trying to all we were saying is like, hey, you're a good producer, hey, you're a good actor, hey, you're a good screenwriter. Why are we waiting for money? Why are we waiting to fund anything? Forget that. Let's just all collaborate and let's build something and let's put it out there. Forget waiting for anybody in Hollywood to try to give us money and believe in us. You're good at what you do. You're good at what you do. You're good. Let's all get together and let's do something. And people, artists in the industry, that was something so refreshing to them. So they all started gravitating towards that. What happens is my ex starts seeing like, wow, these people are so responsive to it. And being the con artist that he is, he starts going out there without me. And he starts saying, oh, well, hey, I have all these investors in the Bay Area. And they just don't know where to park their money. Silicon Valley's full of money, and those are all, my contacts, and they have all this money. So give me your projects, and I'll make sure they get funded. So what happens? People in LA, for most of you that are in the industry, everybody's got a dream. Everybody's got the next script, the next Oscar-winning whatever. We're all full of dreams. We don't have the money for it, but we're all full of dreams, and we're all passionate, and we're all true about our craft and what we want to do. So these poor, passionate artists and people believed him. And we actually went to our Lift launch was actually at LALIFF, Los Angeles International Latino Film Festival. That was Edward James Olmos Festival. Little did I know that he had made an arrangement with them at the end of because it's a 1 week or 2 week run of the film festival. I ended up finding out later that he wrote checks and they all bounced. So now they're coming to me. So now he defrauded them. He said he was funding the youth program for film, and he did it for show, got all the pictures he wanted, got all the fame that he wanted, bounced all the checks, and now they're coming after me, looking for me, and I'm just like, I have nothing to do with it. I'm not even with him. But how could I explain it? Because they're like, wait a minute. But I thought you're married. I'm like, we're not together. He's him and I'm me. Long story short, I ended up just having to bow out. Embarrassingly or gracefully, I had to bow out of Hollywood and LA, as much doors as open to me. And I had to just quietly come back to the Bay Area. Meanwhile, he continued over there. And I couldn't say much. He did whatever he needed to do. But imagine my heartbreak. I'm sorry, let me get my laptop. Never mind. Sorry, I have to charge my laptop. But anyways, imagine my heartbreak, because my dream, which was being out there in Hollywood and my contacts and everything, all of a sudden, someone else is living my dream for me. And if you read my chapter in the book, I gave a little bit of details about that. And next thing you know, I'm finding myself looking on Facebook, and I see him at the red carpets. I see him at the premieres. I see him with all these celebrities taking pictures. Meanwhile, I was left at home with no running water, sometimes with no PG&E, and nobody knew this. Not even my parents. My parents lived 3 blocks away from me, and it was the most hurtful thing to hear relatives and people say, wow, your daughter pretty much lives over there with her grandparents. I mean, I guess they're the ones raising her. But they had no idea the nightmares that I had to live through every day. So there's times that I'd literally just go to my mom's house and I'd say like, oh, you know what? I have to take a shower here because I'm in a hurry. I did that because I didn't have water at my house. There's times that I would just tell my mom, you know what? I'm going to have to go to an event tonight. I need you to keep her overnight. I need my daughter to sleep here with you because I'm going to be home late. But in reality, I went home to flashlights and to turn candles on and lay there with my 2 little dogs because I didn't have PG&E. But the guy was out in red carpets and funding the Latino dream. He couldn't even fund his own home. He couldn't fund leaving $20 on the countertop for his daughter to make sure that she had food. He couldn't make sure to leave me $20 to make sure that she had something to eat. But he was out there funding Latino dreams in LA. Mr. Lift 360. That's his Facebook page. So what happens at that point? My exit out of that was, fortunately for me, unfortunately for him, he had lost a court case where he actually did commit fraud on another lady. He has so many cases against him anyway. So many people have sued him. But he had lost this one case where he was on 6-month house arrest. Now, he was so conniving, and he knows so many people, rubs elbows with politicians, and got himself such a good lawyer that he was able, get this. So, he owed the lady $80,000, which he didn't have to pay. He didn't have the money. Well, his attorney, which was his friend, said, you know what, I'll pay the $80,000 for you, because he was going to help him look for a house anyway, right? Because my ex-husband's a broker. He's going to help him look for houses anyway. So he said, out of the commission, I'll pay you. Or if not, hey, worst case scenario, I'll sell you the house and we're hand in hand. We're good, right? So the attorney goes, gets a cashier's check, pays him off, and now he only has 6 months house arrest. Well, how conniving and how smart he is. The judge said the only way that he can leave anywhere is if he travels for business. So next thing you know, he comes home a few days later and he brings paperwork home, and now he's the president, he's the CEO of Lyft. So he opened up a business, which was the organization that my friend, my good friend, Cesar Vargas, in LA, I'm sorry, maybe he didn't want me to say his name, but somebody who started that, who opened that, and he just basically took it from him, opened it supposedly as a business. He's a CEO now, he's a business owner, And now he gets to travel to LA, go back and forth, and there's nobody that can do anything about it. So, lucky guy, right? Not only did he not go to prison for 3 years that he was supposed to go because his attorney bailed him out, he was on 6 months house arrest, but he didn't have to be home because now he's a CEO of a company which requires him to go work with the Latinos in Hollywood because he's Mr. Hollywood Latino funder of dreams. And he's out there. And meanwhile, I'm the one that has to stay home now. And with no money. And with no resources. And my dreams completely came to an end. So, what happens from there? Like I said, thank God that on one of his trips back, he was driving and he got pulled over and he was given a DUI. Now, if you've known about DUIs, I guess they give you a breathalyzer, but if you refuse it, you have to go take a blood test or something. Well, somehow he ended up avoiding that. And then 2 days later, or a day later, he has to go and do the blood work. Well, something went wrong because the next time he's in LA, Stars agency calls me and says, Mia, we are so sorry. There's somebody new in accounting. We told them to hold your check and we are so sorry, but the check went out 2 days ago. You might be getting it in the mail any day. So thank God. I'm like, okay, he's not here. It's my chance. I go to the mailbox, I run, and I open it. I see my check, and then I see this letter that says urgent, and it's from the court. And I open it because he's not there, right? I open it, and I swear to you, my hands were trembling. I started shaking. My hands were trembling because this whole time, I didn't tell anybody what was going on. Well, I told a couple people, but the people I told didn't believe me. They didn't believe me. You know what they thought? They thought, oh, well, that's because you are into your whole trying to be an actress and this and that, whatever. That's why your marriage is not working out. And I was like, you guys don't get it. No, there's something really wrong with him. And when I say really wrong, I'm talking about if I went anywhere, my mileage was tracked. I was told, it was crazy. I was told like my house was bugged. I was told anything you say in here, I can hear. Any conversation you have here in this house, I'm going to know who you talk to, what you say. I'm going to know everything. And what do you do when you are told that? You freak out. You freak out because you don't even know what's real and what's not anymore. I would get comments. My friends would get comments on their Facebook pages. I would be accused of sleeping with everybody and their moms. It's just like crazy. But when you don't grow up in certain environments, you grew up in a very protective environment, like as I was with my parents, I would have never known what was going on. So I end up getting this letter. I open it. And then I see not only has he failed to not be where he's supposed to be at certain times, you know, because when you're in house arrest, you got to be back, even though you're on business, you have to be back at a certain place, certain time. They said he had failed, or he had tested positive to crystal meth on 3 different occasions. That was a hard blow to me. Because I would have never known. I've never grew up around anybody who did drugs. So I would have never known what the signs were or why someone acts a certain way. I just thought, okay, real estate crashed. He's having a lot of problems with his ex-wife for child support and for whatever reasons and going to court for all these things. He probably just can't handle it. And the fact that now he knows his whole marriage is over again for the second time. He fails in family again in marriage for the second time. He probably can't handle that. Maybe this is why this is happening. But I would have never known that he had been using drugs. There was so many signs that I'm sure if you if I kept going, you'd be like, oh, come on, you should have known. Well, when you don't grow up around that, you don't know. You don't know that. And I can tell you this much. The reason why I thank God that Stars, whoever it was at Stars Agency that, took over the new position or didn't go in or whatever happened that sent that check, had I not had that letter in my hands, I would not be where I am right now, I don't think. I wouldn't have had the evidence, I guess is what I needed. Anyways, I got the letter. I started shaking. I started crying. First thing I did, I called my mom and my dad. I said, are you guys home right now? And my mom said, yeah, we're home. And I said, is my dad there? She said, yes. I said, don't go anywhere. I'll be right there. And she said, okay. I drove to the house. Literally, it's like, 3 minutes away. And I'm shaking. I get there. And I put the letter down on the table. And they just look at it. And they're like, ¿qué es eso? Like, they don't even know, right? They're like, what is that? And I said, and I just looked at it. I said, you see what that says there? And they said, what? I said, he's tested positive 3 times to crystal meth. He's on drugs. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, I've never seen my dad cry. But I think there's a lot of things that hurt me the whole time in the life that I was living with this man. But seeing the pain in my parents' eyes, I think hurt me the most. Because at that moment, I can only picture my daughter going through something like that and me not knowing what to do or what to say. So I had went to them, unfortunately, a couple times, and I don't fault them. I do not blame them at all, because the way we were raised in the church and the Christian belief, and even, traditional, Latino way of thinking, Mexican is like, no, stay married, you fix your problems at home, you figure it out, you have to stay together for the kids and whatnot. But they didn't know. It's not their fault. I never told them all the things that I had to live through every single day. They didn't know I was without PG&E. They didn't know I was without running water. They didn't know I didn't have access to money. They didn't know he didn't leave me even $20. They didn't know that they didn't know that. They didn't know that sometimes just to pay my phone bill, and I had to pay the phone bill, right? Because sometimes the one thing you think of sometimes is like, what if it's an emergency and I need to get a hold of my family or my parents or something? So that's the one vital thing you have to pay, is your phone, because that's your way to get a hold of somebody or your help or your way out if anything were to happen. That's your emergency. And in order for me to pay my phone bill, and I'd have to ask, of course, and I'd say, I need money. What do you need money for? I need to pay my phone bill. And he'd say, well, things around here aren't for free. Nothing in life is free. And then he'd say, you want your phone paid? Well, I want something else. So, you know what you have to do tonight. I'm going to leave it at that. So, what do you do? Right? What do you do when you're mentally tortured, emotionally tortured, even spiritually tortured? Because how twisted that he would even say, because he knew I was a faith believer and I believed in God, he would say, your duty as a wife before God is you do what I say. And let me tell you, financial abuse I could handle. Verbal, emotional abuse I could handle. Or I dealt with it as best as I could. Psychological, I dealt with it as best as I could. Physical, happened a couple times. But there's another type of abuse that messes up your mind and your heart so bad. And that's the sexual abuse. When you don't want to be with that person anymore, but the only way that you can survive financially now is by, they literally, even if you don't want to, they come and pound on the door. I lived in the master bedroom. He lived in the bedroom over there, in the laundry room. I've always slept there with my daughter, and he would just pound and pound on the door, knowing my daughter would wake up, until I opened the door. And then I didn't have a choice. And he'd force himself on me, and that's the way I had to pay for things in order to just pay for phone and everything else. And I'm sorry for being so explicit on this, but that's the reality of that. So now that I have this letter in my hand and I show it to my parents, to see their pain, to see them like, wow, she was right. She's living through something that we don't know. Because I would tell them, you don't know how he goes. He goes crazy. He yells at me like crazy. I'm sitting there closing all the windows because I'm scared the neighbors are going to call the cops. And I shouldn't have done that. I wish they would have called the cops. I should have let them. But I was like so scared because he'd always say, if you want to leave, you know what? I'm going to keep your daughter. I keep our daughter because you don't make any money. How are you going to survive? How are you going to feed her? You think they're going to give you your daughter? You're wrong. You're going to end up by yourself because I'm going to have our daughter because I'm the one that has the money. You have no way to prove that you can take care, not even of yourself. How are you going to take care of your daughter? So when someone puts that in your mind, you don't have a choice. You just kind of, and they feed that in your head all the time, and that you're nothing without them, and that, you know, to him, because he had a degree, I'm the one with the business degree. I'm the one that's smart. Who are you? You're nothing but this and that and blah, blah, blah. Like, it takes a toll on you. It breaks you down. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how strong and independent of a person you are. That takes a toll on you. It'll break you down emotionally, mentally, downright physically. You are broken down. And so at that point, my parents said, you know what, we're moving in. So remember, it's been years that I've been telling him to move out. He wouldn't move out. So my parents said, we're moving in. So I didn't say anything to him. Actually, he never knew about the letter. He never knew that I had that letter. I actually hid it until one day when I went to court. And he denied the whole time. He denied to everybody that he ever did drugs, and no way, and how would he ever do that? He's a businessman, he's this, he's that, and blah, blah, blah. When I went to court, that's when he finally saw the letter. He'd never even seen it, he never even heard of it. I never said anything. But that was my only way to prove that I wasn't lying, and that what I had lived through. So, long story short, my parents moved in. A week later, people from my charity, those of you that have attended my charity events, they're people that grew up with my parents in Durango, in Mexico, since they were like in high school. They showed up, and with the trucks, they started moving everything in. He's just like, what's going on? And I'm like, my parents are moving in. He's like, what do you mean? What do you mean they're moving in? I said, I'm not living one more day by myself with you under this roof. My parents are moving in. You want to keep living here? Keep living over there in the laundry room like you've always, well, the room next to the laundry room, in the guest bedroom like you always have. I have no problem with that because you haven't left anyway, but I'm not living with you here by myself. My parents are moving in. So my parents moved in with me. Now, let me tell you something. If I would have said that I think that was my lowest point, yes, it was a low point for me. And thank you so much. I'll read all your comments right now. I'll read all your comments right now. I really appreciate it. But let me tell you that after all that happens, what do you do after that? You know? All of a sudden, and this is, and what's crazy is, I know to some of you that follow me for a long time, you've been my friends on Facebook. You've seen me at that point when I was in LA back then in red carpets and doing this and that. But you never knew what I lived when I got back home. It goes to show, right, that on Facebook, don't ever believe everything you see. People want to show you the best of what they live. They don't want to show you the sad times, what breaks them. They don't want to show you the ugly side of their family, of themselves. Nobody does, right? Until you hit a point, like I've hit myself. I've hit this point where I'm like, okay, everything I went through, there has to be a reason. There has to be a reason. Now, I'm going to say this to you. I don't want to come across like, oh, this is only his fault. No, it was my fault too. Number one, my fault for marrying just to not be alone, and I married the wrong person. I'm going to take full ownership of that. I'm accountable for that. If I would have loved myself enough, if I would have felt I'm enough of a woman worthy of a man's love, not that I don't know if I didn't feel I was worthy of it. I think I just felt like I needed to be with someone. I needed to be married to not feel alone. And there's a big difference between being lonely and being alone. And I think I didn't want to be lonely. And that's why I got married. I married the wrong person, obviously. And this is what happened. My life ended up. But let me tell you where my journey has taken me after that. It was very hard for my parents. It's very hard for my parents moving in because all they've seen is me come in and out of their house, and they see me, what I do on Facebook, and they see me like all happy and this and that, whatever. But now they move into my house, and they didn't realize my life. And for you watching here, if you saw my life 3-4 years back, my life when I got home, my home was I literally walked into the house and I went to my master bedroom. I might have went to go get something to eat in the kitchen. I went back to the master bedroom. I lived in my room. When I went there, I think it was very hard for my mom and my dad, very difficult for them to see me because I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. That's how I lived my life. You went in my room, it was pitch dark. It was pitch dark. Blinds, you see these right here? Like these? Completely drawn. Curtains, even curtains fully drawn, and it was completely pitch dark. But that was my safety. That was, to me, that's where I felt safe. I locked that door, I was in there, and that's where I was. And then on Facebook, the times I would step in and out of the house, literally, was pick up my daughter, take her to school, come back, go to my mom's house, come back, that's it. So the times that you saw me out doing interviews and being out in the salsa world and things like that, you would think like, well, how did he let you go to that? How did you get away with going out to clubs and like interview artists and to festivals and do all that? He was smart. He was very smart. He would say, go ahead and go and do all of that. But why? Because he knew I was building my network. He knew I got to know promoters. He knew I got to know other people in the entertainment business, in the arts, and he needed to get into that world. That was not his world. So as long as I went out there and I built those relationships, then he would use me to get into them. So again, that was very difficult for my parents to come and now try to live a life with me, with their daughter, and be like, when do you ever come out of your room? Can you come out? Can you come to the kitchen? I didn't know how to live like that anymore. I mean, I had to live in my room. And not because, I'm not going to say that, oh, because he had me locked in there. No, I needed to be in there. That was for my safety, for my sanity, because the minute I stepped out, I didn't know what I was going to get with him. It would be yelling, it would be insulting, it would be calling me any name that you can think of. It was called. I'll never forget one time, and it's in the chapter in the book. I'll never forget one time where I drove around for hours and hours looking for him because he wouldn't pick up his phone, and as much as he drank, because he's also an alcoholic, as much as he drank, I was scared that something might have happened to him, and I drove around to the different restaurants or bars nearby with my infant daughter in the car and didn't find him. He never picked up his phone. And I'm sitting in the rocking chair, this like couch rocking chair with my daughter laying right here. And I was rocking her like this. I was wearing a blue, I still have it. I have it from memories. Hold on. This. I have it from memories. Maybe bad memories, you think, but to me, it's a good memory of where I am, where I was, and where I am. I was wearing this baby blue robe, and I had my daughter right here. She was only a few months old, and I was rocking her like this. 4 a.m, he walks in. Drunk, completely. Slurring. And I was like, what happened to you? Where are you? I was glad that he was alive, you know. But he just was like, he just said so many things, basically. Just shut the fuck up. You cunt. You're nothing but a fucking whore. You're nothing but a slut. Blah, blah, blah. What the fuck do you have to say to me? All those things. Don't ask me where I've been. I don't have to answer to you. You're nothing but a worthless piece of shit. Try listening to that, to the man that you married, the father of your child, that you're cradling like this, and him yelling at you, and all you do is cover her little ears so that she doesn't wake up. That was my life with him. So, anyways, my parents had to kind of adjust to me. That's one of the things I want to do as I work with women, and eventually, not just with the domestic violence women, I want to work with the families. I want to work with the families of these people, because the people that go through domestic abuse, domestic violence, we have help eventually if we look for it. But I wish there would have been a place that my parents could go to, people that they could talk to, so that they could understand how our mind works and how we have to heal and how we have to go through that, because my parents were completely lost. They didn't know how to deal with me. When we go through things like this, we're like, there's so many triggers. I'm not kidding. If you open a can, when you open a can of Coke or whatever, the little sound would make my hair stand up. That was a trigger where I'd be like, why? Because his whole life he drank. I'm talking a can of 18 pack a day is what this man would drink. Certain things, certain scents, certain sounds will take you back, and all of a sudden you're like, and you just have this like, it's just, they're called triggers. They're called triggers, and you have to go through a lot of therapy for it. So when my parents lived with me, I ended up, obviously ended up with, I already had nothing. It didn't matter, right? I mean, I already went through having my PG&E cut off and no running water and not having money and not having access to anything. So it was just like, I had to start from zero. But mentally, emotionally, how do you start moving forward? Like, how do you do that? Right? Well, a girlfriend of mine, she said, you have to go to the county and ask for food stamps and ask for money. And I was like, there's no way I could do that. Look in the house that I live. It's over $1 million house. I'm not gonna qualify. She's like, no, it's about how much money you make. You don't make any money right now. He's not gonna give you a penny. He told you, he warned you, the minute you leave, you will never see a penny from him for your daughter or for yourself. You're not gonna get anything. And this is the same person who told me a while back to walk away. And I kept saying, no, but if I walk away, you know, what am I going to do? I'm not going to have any money, blah, blah, blah. He's going to keep me from everything. And she told me straight up, she said, what is wrong with you? You are the reason why he has a business. You are the reason why they are clients. You are the reason why people do business. They trust you. They don't trust him. Nobody trusts him. They do business because of you. You walk away, guess what? All the businesses are going to go away. And you know what? That's exactly what happened. I walked away. The meat company must have closed down maybe 4 months later. And again, he owed people. He would charge them money up front and then not deliver their meat to them. That's what happened with the meat company. The brokerage, he ended up having to close it down. My insurance company, I closed that down. Thankfully, the cleaning company that I established for my parents, that kept running. But I ended up with nothing. So let me tell you something. When my friend told me to go and ask for help, if you were to think that my lowest point was having no money, or losing my businesses, or losing all of that, it wasn't it. My lowest point, and I'll never forget it, my lowest point was when I didn't have a choice. My daughter was sick. You know, she just, not sick like not some terminal illness or anything, but she was sick and she needed to go to the doctor and I didn't have insurance. So she said, you have to go ask for help now. And I was like, they're not going to accept me. They're not going to let me. She said, you need to go. And I'll never forget this day. And I went to the social services office. And I parked. And I was praying to God that nobody would see me, for one. Because I had already been I was pretty known within my community already. In sales and whatnot, and now getting into the industry. I was already doing TV shows and all that, and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here? I sat in my car, and it took me 15 minutes, maybe longer, crying on my steering wheel. I completely broke down for the first time. And the reason why I broke down was because I looked in the mirror, and I had done this many times already in my master bedroom. I looked in the mirror, and I was like, I didn't recognize myself anymore. But this time I'm in the car, and I look, and I put my glasses on because I'm hoping nobody sees me. And then I take my glasses off, and I look, and I just realized to myself, I said, wait a minute. I don't belong here. I don't belong here. I'm the woman that gave people jobs to feed their kids. I'm the entrepreneur. I'm the businesswoman that people looked up to and said, wow, you're so young, and look at you run this business and that, and you're so successful, and look at the house you live in and all these things. I was a woman that I would, if somebody needed, I don't care, I would front them their check. If they needed money to pay their car payment or to pay whatever, I would go out of my way to be like, hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'll take it out of your next paycheck. Or you know what? Here, I'll take it out of my purse. I'll give it to you. And here I was now in front of the social services office, and I'm about to go ask help. Here's a woman that gave people a way to feed their children. And now I didn't have a way to feed my daughter. I didn't have a way to take her to the doctor. I don't have any way to have money to provide for her. And it's like, how did I get here? What happened to me? What happened to me? I'm a girl who, as a girl, worked since I was 12 years old every summer. I saved my money. I've been an independent woman for so many years. And here I am now. Now I need help. And how do you do that? That's rock bottom. That was my rock bottom. And you know why? Let me tell you why. Because when people came before to my office, whether it was insurance or for whatnot, and they told me that they were on food stamps or government assistance, God forgive me, my first thought was like, you don't look like you need help. You have 2 arms, you have 2 legs, you are intelligent. Why? Why are you on the system? And I thought to myself, maybe you're taking advantage of the system. Maybe it's my tax dollars, that I'm here paying, working my ass off so that you can sit here and enjoy not working and collect money and have money to go or money for groceries or whatnot. And it was in that moment that God broke me down. And I asked God for forgiveness that day. And I said, I'm sorry for every person I judged wrongly, for not knowing their circumstance or their condition, for judging them for needing help. Because now I need the help. So I got in with my sunglasses. And to be honest with you, I wasn't going to share this much. I was going to stop at my parents moved in. But I guess if I'm going to be honest, I'll just lay it all out. So I got in there, and when I made sure I sat in the very front, very, very front, because I was like, oh my gosh, if they say my name, anybody here, it's like, again, I'm pretty known in my community already. And if people see me and all that, oh my goodness, I'm like, what are they going to think? And this is the first thing that I thought, you know what, is like, oh my gosh, they're going to think, what a fraud. This girl's on TV. This girl, I've seen her. She's over here at these concerts. She's enjoying this. She's enjoying that. But you don't know. The things that I did was just building up my resume. They didn't pay me a lot of money. I was just trying to rebuild my resume here to be able to start in my passion again. And I have so many friends that are promoters and whatnot that I've been very blessed. I'm so blessed and so favored that a lot of things I'm invited to, most of the time people invite me, they always say, Mia, you know what, just come, don't worry about it, or just come, bring your friend, hey, I got you a ticket and your friend, don't worry about food, don't worry about this, don't worry about that. And I'm pretty much taken care of where I go, and I'm not saying it in a proud way that, oh, look at me, no, not at all. I've just been very blessed that people take a liking to me in that way, and they think I'm nice or I'm cool, whatever. I'm very good friends with them, and then I'm blessed with those perks that come, I guess, with what I do in entertainment. But I thought to myself, oh my gosh, if anybody sees me, I put my glasses on, if anybody hears my name or sees me, they're going to think this woman is a fraud because I see her on TV, I see her here, I see her there, or whatever. They called my name. I went in. The lady's taking my application, and as she's doing that, she looks at me, and she sees me crying, and I remember like all these people that helped me during that day that I went there. It's like they were just such compassionate people. And she looked at me, she's like, honey, it's okay, you don't have to cry. And I remember apologizing to her, and I was just like, I'm so sorry. And she said, for what? And I said, I'm so sorry. I said, I don't mean to take advantage of the system in any way. I said, I just need help right now. I said, it's just for like the next month or two. It's just the next month or two. I'm not going to take advantage of the system. I'm not going to live off the system. I'm not going to be a statistic. I just need to feed my daughter. And I need to make sure that she has health care just while I get on my feet, while I get back on my feet. She asked me, where's her dad? And what happened with this web? And I told her. And she said, honey, don't apologize. She said, don't apologize. She said, it's going to be okay. And she said, wait right here. And next thing you know, she comes back and she says, I need you to talk to somebody. And I said, okay. I went over there. And this other lady comes in and she says, oh, she told me about your story. Tell me about this. And I opened up to her again. And I just started sobbing and I'm crying. And again, I'm saying sorry. And then she gets up. She says, honey, come here. And this lady took me in her arms and she gave me the most loving hug. I can't even describe the embrace that she gave me. And she said, and I'm sorry I'm crying so much. And she said, I'm so sorry for everything you've been through. And for the first time ever, I was told, you have been a victim of domestic abuse. And when she said that to me, I'm like, wait, what? What are you talking? No, like, okay, you got it wrong. It's not, he didn't like punch me. He didn't slap me. It was nothing like that. And she's like, honey, did he force himself upon you to have sex? Because you had to do this or that? And I said, yeah. She said, that's abuse. I said, no, but I'm his wife. Legally, I'm still married to you. I'm sorry. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And it was just, I said, legally, I'm still married to him, so it's not considered. No, she said, honey, that's rape. You weren't allowed to go to the bank. You weren't allowed to have money. You were put down. You were told this and that. That's abuse. And she said, and anyways, that was hard to hear because I never ever thought myself as a victim. I never saw myself. I was the strong person. I was the independent woman. I was not. I never saw myself that way. So, anyways, she told me, you know what, we're going to give you all the help that you need. And I told her the same thing. I said, you know what, I just need like a month or two. I said, I'm not trying to say I'm better than any woman here. I said, but I'm very smart. I said, I've had my own businesses before and I just need to get back up on my feet. That's all I need. So I'm just going to need a little bit of time. That's it. And she said, honey, let me prepare you for something. She said, we're going to walk you through. We're going to hold your hand the whole time. But I need you to understand this is going to be a process. And this is going to take time. And you have to be patient. And I think I heard those words and I kind of just said, okay. But I thought, okay, yeah, but that's who they're used to dealing with and I'm stronger than that. So, you know, I'm sure that I'll get through this fast enough. But let me tell you that it wasn't that it was hitting rock bottom. I realized that it wasn't like I had to start building now from ground zero. I had fallen into such a deep pit, such a deep pit in my life that I literally had to start now crawling my way up to eventually get to ground level so that I can build. So I started with 3 days a week intensive therapy to the point that if I didn't answer my phone, if I didn't go to the meeting and I didn't answer my phone, they were going to come and look for me. Because some of the women in that group, I saw it myself, they ended up attempting suicide. Because it is very hard to go through something like that. And now I understand. Let me tell you something now. I can't judge the woman. I can't judge the woman that ends up, in drugs or in alcohol or in prostitution even because she wants to feed her kids. It might sound bad that I say that, but I know how it is to fall into something where they mess you up so much where you feel worthless
to a point you feel worthless, where you don't recognize yourself anymore. What you see in the mirror, you have no idea. You just stare at a blank something there, but you don't know who you are anymore. So I will never judge a person anymore when I see them asking for money by the freeway. I won't judge a homeless person sitting outside sleeping on a bench. I won't judge anybody, because you know what? I don't know what they went through in their life that hit them so hard that maybe they just haven't been able to get back up. You don't know. You don't know what people have been through that gets them to those situations. I thank God, and I have to give God all the honor and all the glory, because He has been so good to me. He has not abandoned me. I went through so much stuff that I don't feel I deserved it. I don't feel it was right, but I went through it. At the end of the day, I went through it. And, you know, I came out of it. I went through so much therapy, so much court, so many court cases. And you guys have seen that. You guys have seen that I posted, I'm going to court again for this. Now I'm going to that. I was, losing my home. So many things that I've been through, and I the reason why me needing to come into 2017 and wanting to now help other people. Like I said, I've been fighting off this thing where I know God tells me, like, you need to help other people. There's a lot of things, a lot of subjects I want you to talk about, and I keep holding back, and I'm like, no, it's not my time. It's not my time, Lord. You don't understand. I don't want to say that. I don't want them to know. I don't want them. There's certain things I don't want people to know. I don't want to go there, But at the same time, He's reminded me, this is not about me. This is not about me. If I could only tell you how many people private message me, things that they're going through, and I mean, I try to give them the best of my advice, and they're like, oh, one day if you could do a Facebook Live on this. I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. Why? Because then I have to share my experience, and I don't want people to know, And God came to a point, and I think me not battling, but just like, it's a tug of war with God, where He's like, I keep saying, Lord, use me in your way. Whatever your purpose is for my life, use me. And He says, I feel like Him saying, okay, I'm going to use you, but I need people to know where you've been and where I brought you through, so they can see where I'm going to take you. And I've just been fighting it off, and I've been like, I don't want to be so open and so put myself out there like that, because I didn't want, again, this, honestly, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. You're watching me right now. You've seen me the whole time. I do online radio. I do TV work. I do all this other stuff. I was on social services. I was on food stamps and cash assistance for almost 3 years. For almost 3 years. How I survived, I'm going to be honest with you. God never abandoned me. He was so good to me. My parents lived with me, yes, but it's not like they supported me. It's not like they gave me money, no. But I learned to live within my means. The very little I got, I know how to live with that. I know to not shop. I was so blessed that I had a friend who wore exactly my size of shoes and my size of clothes for so many years until she moved, that anytime I went to an event, I raided her closet, because she was a fashionista. She always had clothes. She always shopped. And I was so blessed that anytime I was like, oh my God, now I have an event. Now I have a photo shoot. Now, and it's just like, literally, she lived off the next exit. I would go raid her closet, and I was good to go. So if you saw me out at events or whatever, I was blessed. I never had to pay for anything. Doors always opened for me. Clothes, I always had I don't have the best closet. If you saw my closet right now, I'm not very fashion forward, but I didn't need to be. God's always provided. He's always put, people that have always been so good to me in one way or another. And I'm finally, now I can say I'm off of the system. I'm off of having food stamps and having all of that stuff. But, it was a process. It was a process. And it's, I feel like bad to say it. I feel like I said, like, people they wouldn't even believe me. They would be like, yeah, right, look at, you've been here, you've been there. I've been blessed. I can say people offer me to go here and they pay for it. And again, I can say with all honesty and humbly, and at the same time very proud, that with people have given me certain opportunities, or they've blessed me in certain ways, I have never sacrificed my integrity and my morals and me as a woman to make it somewhere, to whether it be an entertainment business or to get an interview or to get into a concert or to hook up. I don't sit there and sleep with people. I don't hook up with people. I don't even let them entertain that they would have that opportunity with me, because I'm not like that. And at the same time, I think they appreciate that about me, and that's why there's a genuine interest in helping me in what I do in entertainment and whatnot. So again, because I know it's kind of hard to, and I can totally understand a lot of you, when you look at my face, you'd be like, wait a minute, what? How in the world? Yeah, but some of the stuff didn't pay a lot of money. They don't pay a lot of money. And you have to, some of the stuff, you build your resume. You gotta just do it to put under your belt, and you can take the next step and do all that. And that's what I did. In the meantime, God was very... Okay. Sorry, guys. I know a lot of you logged off already, but I'm going to have to end the Facebook now. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate it. So, anyways, guys, so that's why, again, thank you all for tuning in. Like I said in the beginning, if you get a chance, please go to the left, hit share, because I feel that, I hope that this message will help a lot of people and give them hope in whatever it is in life that they're going through. Here I was an independent entrepreneur, did very well for myself. I hit rock bottom. Life happens, but God is good, and you get back up. And I feel that, what are 3 things that I learned from it? I can tell you. 1, I learned that loving yourself is the best thing that you can do. Because if I would have loved myself enough, I would not have married early, allowed myself to be in that type of relationship. I learned that you have to lose in order to gain. Why do I say that? Because a lot of people are willing to stay in those relationships because, again, well, if I leave, then what's going to happen? I'm not going to have any money. I'm not going to have, how am I going to start over? What about my kids? What about this? What about that? It's sometimes, I can tell you, it's so much easier to stay. It's easier to stay because you don't want to deal with how you're going to get back up when you lose everything. And my 3rd lesson I learned is that your biggest setback can be your biggest comeback. I know without a shadow of a doubt, I firmly believe that, not that God intentionally wanted me to go through this, but I know that God will use me in spite of what I went through. He's going to use that for His purpose and for me to help other people. Not just in domestic violence, people that, have lost hope, people that are in different toxic relationships, not just in abusive relationships, but when you need to get out, how do you leave? Or how do you react when you've had it all and all of a sudden you end up with nothing? What do you do? So those are all the things that I want to help. And this time of transformation that I want to take myself through, like I said, it's taken me a while to crawl out of this hole. Now that I'm finally at ground level, now is when I finally am going to be able to rebuild myself. So as I invite you on my journey to rebuild myself, I'm going to be learning things and I'm going to share them with you. I'm going to talk about different topics of what I'm learning and people that I talk to as well, that I help. Private message me if you have any questions. Go ahead and write your comments. There's so many comments right now that I'm going to respond to everyone, I promise, as soon as I get off, because I don't want to keep you guys waiting.
on here. And tomorrow I will do a Facebook Live actually responding to all of your comments here. So I really appreciate all the support, all the love. Again, if you get a chance, hit the share button to your left. And so many more people can not know about me. Many people can know that there's hope. Many people can know, because you know what? I really wish when I went through that, I would have had somebody on my news feed that would have said, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. Because everybody on here, for some reason, not everybody, most people, they all talk about everything that's going on great in their lives. Everything sounds great. So it's like, shoot, that made me feel even more like crap, because it's like, dang, they're going on vacation here. Now they got a promotion. Now they're doing this. Now they're doing that. Gosh, they're so happy. They got their nails done. I don't even have money for this. I don't have money for that. If I would have had somebody else say, you know what, I'm not having a good day today. My life is not where it should be. I think I would have found hope in that. So thanks again so much, guys. Tell me also things you want to talk about. I'll definitely bring up topics that you want to discuss and that we can grow together. So my purpose for 2017 is helping you in any way that I can to help you grow in every way. I need to grow myself. I am not perfect. I'm never near where I want to be, not yet. By God's grace, I'm growing, and I'm going to share my transformation with you as I go through this. Because like I said, I've been battling with God, saying, no, I want to wait to where I'm at, and then I'll share my story. And it got to the point where he was just like, no. I think he's told me, you know what, Mia, this is not your story. It's my story. So you're going to share it now. That's literally what I heard. Like, not like heard his voice, but literally in my spirit, he finally said, no, your time is to share now. And they're going to see the transformation as it goes. As I share things with you, as I put it on your heart, I want you to share what's on your heart with them. So that's all I'm asking is for you guys. If you'd like, join me on my journey as I go through topics and learn through things. We can grow together, and you guys share it with your network or with, yourself, whatever you need. I'm here for you in whatever you need. So now there's no judgment. Know that with me, there will never be any judgment, no matter what you've been through. I've been through a lot already. So I can appreciate somebody's pain, somebody's tears, someone losing hope, and I can definitely understand where you're coming from and offer you whatever it is that you need. So again, this is your girl Mia Perez here. Thank you so much for allowing me to take so much of your time today. And like I said, I ended up sharing a little more than what I wanted to, but I did pray in the very beginning. I asked God to just lead me in what I needed to say and let it be what he needed for me to share, not what I wanted or what I thought was safe enough or what I thought was comfortable enough for me. So thank you guys for allowing me to be so open with you and for inviting me into your evening. So hugs and kisses to all of you. Again, hit the share when you get a chance. Love you guys. Take care. Okay, write your comments on there and I'll get back with you guys tomorrow. Thanks.